Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Jessica. If you are, this is my Pan Those Eyeshadows update for the month of October. Let's get into this Pan Those Eyeshadows update because I'm really excited to film it and I don't have a lot of time. So we're just gonna kind of power through and not really waste time on any major introductions, but I will mention that this is a very popular eyeshadow panning project, as I'm sure you are familiar, that was created by Alexi here on YouTube. She's not creating these videos any longer, but I always want to give credit to the creator, and since then many panners have made it their own and have their own rules and ways that they like to do it. With my personal project, I work on 5 eyeshadows at a time. 4 of those eyeshadows are ones that I'm trying to hit pan on, and then 1 is an eyeshadow that already has a pan on it that I'm trying to expand pan on. And that was influenced from Fuscia Soul here on YouTube. Her name is Dora, a really great creator as well, so check her out. With those 4 shades I'm trying to hit pan on, of course that is the ultimate goal, but if I use them at least 30 times and over a course of at least 3 months and I have yet to hit a pan, I do allow myself to roll out those shades and bring in something fresh and new. If you happen to be new here, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would love it so much if you decided to stick around. Give this video a like at any moment. It would really help me out a lot and let the algorithm know that you enjoy me and my content, and maybe other people would enjoy it too. And leave a comment down below at any point. I would love to hear from you. Without further ado, let's jump in. The first eyeshadow comes from my Odin's Eye Jewels and Gem palette, and I'm working on the kind of army green shade in here called Seventh Heaven. There is the swatch of Seventh Heaven. It has almost like a taupey gray undertone with that really pretty green color to it. Here's what Seventh Heaven was looking like when I first rolled it into this project. I didn't have much use on it whatsoever. During the first month, I reached for it 6 times, and here's what it was looking like after those 6 uses. That was actually after the first 2 months of using it because I missed an update. And in the past month, I've reached for it 5 additional times, making for 11 uses total. And here's what Seventh Heaven is looking like today. And you'll see a slight disturbance in that pan, but not much of a dip to show for it yet. And while I have been working on this shade for 3 months, I am nowhere near 30 uses, so this shade will be staying in. I was hoping to reach for this shade a lot more during the past month, but we did our best with those 5 uses, and I at least am seeing some sort of difference in the shape of that pan with those 11 uses we have so far. So I'm going to continue to keep reaching for this. It's a great shade for the fall. It actually pulls quite neutral if you just buff it into your crease and pair it with other neutrals. And I have been enjoying some green looks as well with it. So I'm really hopeful to get either close to pan or at least get 30 uses on this. Probably not by the next update, but I'm going to keep working on it until I do hit that goal. I am going to be having a baby very, very soon, so that might really interfere with my project panning goals, but I'm just going to play by ear, see how these next few months go, and do my best before this project is over in, I think I'm going to end it in December, the beginning of December, so that one is staying in. The next shade comes from my Natasha Denona Bronze palette, and I'm working on the shade in here called True Bronze. I have it on my eyelids today. It's super sparkly and pretty, if you can pick that up. And then I also have it here on my hand in a swatch. Look how beautiful and metallic this shade is. It has been an absolute joy to work on, and I'm really excited with the progress on this one. And I also want to mention that this shade was brought in using one of Lainey's prompts. So 2 of my shades are using Lainey's prompts, which I will link down below, and then the other 2 are just randomly generated. So this one I hand selected. It was for the prompt High End Shadow, and I hand selected it from my High End palette using that prompt. This is now the 3rd month I've been working on it. Here's what it was looking like when I first brought it into the project. In the first 2 months, I reached for it 16 times, and here's what it was looking like after those 16 uses. It did have a nice little dip going on it. And in the past month, I reached for it 10 additional times, making for 26 uses total. And here is True Bronze today. And as you can see, we have a really nice dip going in on it, but no pan yet. Although I know that I'm very, very close. I can just feel the pan coming. I have 4 more uses to hit that 30 use goal, and I'm pretty confident I should hit pan either with those 4 uses or before, or maybe just like slightly over those 4 uses. So this one is going to stay in 1 more month. It's going to be a 4-monther, this one, but it is one that I am very confident I will have pan on by the next update, and a pan I'll be able to add to my pan percentage. But for now, it is staying in, and I just know that it's just going to be a piece of cake to get that pan before the next update. Next shade comes from my Frozen 2 Elsa palette from ColourPop, and I've been working on the shade in here called Spindrift, which is this really deep maroon purple shade, and I have it on my eyes today as a liner, if you can check that out. It's what I have topping my liner today, and just really works well that way, and it's a really beautiful, beautiful shade. I've quite been enjoying it. And there it is in the swatch, and you can see how deep and pigmented it is. Really beautiful to work with. Here's what Spindrift was looking like when I first brought it into the project just last month. It had a slight disturbance but no dip to show, and I reached for it 5 times in the past month, and here's what it's looking like today. And because I've been mostly using it as a liner shade, you can see we do have a nice dip starting to form just after 5 uses. This is quite a powdery shade, so the progress goes pretty quickly on it. I am nowhere near hitting pan, but I'm gonna continue to reach for it with some detailed brushes, and I'm pretty confident I should be able to hit pan on this one. Probably not by the next update, but definitely before this year's over if I just continue to use it consistently. So that one will be staying in, and overall I'm just really excited to have this palette in the project. It's such a gorgeous palette. Not the most fall palette, but this shade definitely is great for the fall and can pair with a lot of fall looks, and I just think this palette is just so unique and beautiful, and I love having it out every time it comes into a project. So that one is happy to stay in for a little while longer. This next shade was also rolled in just last month, and it comes from my ABH Soft Glam palette, and this was also one that came in using one of Lainey's prompts. The prompt was Oldest Shadow, and this is definitely one of the older palettes in my collection. I don't know if it's the oldest, but I really have not kept track of which ones I've had the longest, and this one's up there. So I just wanted to pull in something that would be easy to pan, so I hand selected the shade in here called Fairy. And again, I am wearing Fairy in this look today, so I have it on the inner corner and just a little bit on the lower lash line, on the inner part of my lower lash line. And there's the swatch of Fairy. You can see it's just a really pretty light gold and just super easy to reach for. Here's what Fairy was looking like last month when I first rolled it in. It definitely had some use on it, but not too big of a dip. And I basically brought it into this project because I know how easy ABH shimmers are to pan. I reached for it 15 times, and here's what it's looking like today. And as you can see, we do have a nice pan to show on this shade today. I actually hit pan on the 13th use, and I just feel so happy and satisfied that I was able to hit pan on this shadow in just 1 month of using it. And that means we get to roll it out pretty quickly, add another pan to my pan percentage, and bring in something fresh for this project. So thank you, ABH, for being a shadow I can always count on. Kind of picked it strategically because I'm really trying to get to that 25% pan percentage before this year is over, and this was just like an easy give me shade to help me to get there. And the last shadow is the shadow that I'm trying to expand pan on, and that came from my Hello Kitty ColourPop Pineapple Cake palette, which is this adorable little yellow quad, and I rolled in the shade called To The Core, which is a matte yellow shade, which I also have in this look today. It's my first transition shade on my crease, so it just gives like a little yellow tint to any warm tone look that I'm creating. Or if I want to make more of a yellow look, or even it works great with green looks, I found lots of ways to use it. Here's what this shadow was looking like last month when I brought it in. It had a pan, but nothing too big or exciting. My goal with these expand a pan shades is always to use them at least 5 times. I was able to use this one 7 times, and here's what it's looking like today after those 7 uses. And I'm hoping that that pan has expanded just a little bit, and I'm really happy with the 7 uses I was able to get on this shadow. That's more than I normally do, so hopefully we see a little bit more progress on this expanded pan, and it's a really powdery shade too, so I think we should see a good little jump from last month to this month. So that one also will be rolling out. And real quick, there is that matte yellow and our color story for the last month, which was just so pretty and perfect for fall, and I had quite a fun time playing with it. So now we have this shade and this shade rolling out. We have those 3 shades in the middle staying in, and that means I have 2 new shades to select. One of those shades I will select using one of Lainey's prompts, and the other shade will be the eyeshadow that I'm trying to expand pan on. But before we do, let's talk about my pan percentage, one of my favorite things to update in this video. I include all my eyeshadows that I've hit pan on in this video, even though I'm not hitting all of them in this project. This is just where I like to kind of keep up with that data in my Pan Those Eyeshadows videos. So if it's from my Pan That palette, it's going to be updated in this pan percentage here, and if it happens to be like a deck of panning or something like that, it's all happening right here in this video. So if you're interested in my other panning content, my Pan Those palettes or other things, I will link those up here and you can check out, wait, actually it's gonna be over here, and you can check out those pans in those videos. So my goal for this year is to have pan on 25% of my eyeshadows in my collection. I have 448 eyeshadows in my collection. In January, I started off with pan in 85 of them, and my pan percentage was 18.97%. As of last month, I had pan in 105 of those 448 shades. My pan percentage was all the way up to 23.44%. And in the past month, I've hit 3 new pans, 2 in my current Pan That palette, and then 1 in this project with the shade Fairy. So I now have pan in 108 out of my 445 eyeshadow shades. So my new pan percentage is 24.27%. So I'm so close to hitting that 25% goal. I think I'm about 3 or 4 shadows away, and I am really hopeful I'm going to get there before this project is over. I think I have 2 more pans to hit in my Pan That palette, so if I can make that goal and then hit 2 more pans in this project, which I'm definitely going to get at least 1 in True Bronze next month, I should be hitting that goal, which is so exciting. 25% is a huge percentage, and it's so much bigger than where I started when I first started Pan Those eyeshadows. I think it's now been 4 years of me doing this project. So really exciting, and I am just really hopeful to reach that goal in the next couple of months, which is gonna feel so good. I'm not gonna talk about any of my eyeshadow looks that I documented in the past month. I doubt that there are very many I took pictures of, maybe a couple. So I'll just go ahead and insert them here and maybe put a little description at the bottom to describe which shades I used from this eyeshadow palette to use them. So just enjoy this quick little image of those eyeshadow looks for the next few moments before we get to the exciting part, picking new shades. So I have the Tiny Decisions app pulled up here. These are all of my eyeshadow palettes in my collection, and I have blacked out the ones that are currently in the project or that just rolled out of the project just to keep things a little bit fresh. And this is gonna help me to select something to expand the pan on because every single one of my palettes has a pan on it already. So let's see what is coming in to the project today. Okay, the ABH Sultry palette. So we swapped one ABH palette for another one, and that's a really pretty palette, so it'll be fun to pull that one in. And let's go ahead and just select Lainey's prompt right now as well and see what comes up there. So we have all of Lainey's prompts here. There's like 100 of them, and we have a gray shadow matte. Not the most exciting, but you know, I think there's a gray matte shadow in the Sultry palette. Should I do it? Should I like double up, or should I get some different palettes into this collection? Gray shadow matte is not the most exciting, but we're gonna go with it. And let me just do some digging in my eyeshadow drawer and see what's coming into this project for us to work on in the next couple months. I'll be right back. All right, so we are back, and here is that ABH Sultry palette for all of you. I do have a couple pans on here. I have a pan on Fresh, Steampunk, Birch, and Teak. So I'm gonna be selecting numbers 1 through 4 to try and select randomly from those shades. I really don't wanna get Birch though. I'll probably re-roll if I get Birch because I'm working on a brown in my Pan That palette, and I don't want to take away from that brown because I haven't hit pan on it yet. So there is what my palette is looking like today. It's got some love, but not enough, I will tell you that. So actually, I'm just going to put in the numbers 1 through 3, and we'll randomly select from Fresh, Steampunk, and Teak. Although Teak is also competing with shades from my Pan That palette. Maybe I should just choose my own. Would that be crazy? You know what? No, it's not that deep. It's just a expand the pan. So let's keep it random and we'll just see what happens. No matter what, we'll go with it. It's 5 uses, you know, not the end of the world. Okay, so I have the numbers 1 through 4 put into the Tiny Decisions app, and let's just see what comes in randomly. I'm trying to have too much control over this. Okay, hey, shade number 1. That's actually best case scenario here, which is the shade Fresh. It is the cream colored shade, the easiest shade to reach for, and I will have no problem expanding pan on that. Not the most exciting shade, but that's okay. We're just trying to make that pan a little bit bigger. Give this palette a little bit of love. Nothing too exciting to show you as far as the swatch goes. There it is. We're gonna have no problem expanding that pan, reaching for it 5 times, maybe more, who knows, maybe we'll have a big fatty pan on it before this month is over. So that is the first shade coming in. Not exciting, but kind of a gimme, which, you know, maybe I'm gonna need that in the next couple weeks. And for Lainey's prompt, a gray toned matte eyeshadow, I decided to pick up a quite old eyeshadow palette in my collection, the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Palette. I almost reached for a much deeper gray, but I wanted to, first of all, involve a different palette, not just pull from my sultry palette, and I wanted to pick something that I could potentially hit pan on. So the shade in here that I decided to work on is this middle shade right here, which is like kind of a taupey gray. It definitely is a gray shade. It definitely reads gray on the camera. It already has a nice little dip on it, and I think it'll be a really easy shade to reach for as a transition for any cool tone look, so I think it'll be really easy for me to get a lot of use on it. This shade is called Lazarus. It was in a Pan Those Eyeshadows project many months ago, probably a year or more ago, so it does have some nice progress on it. Here's what it's looking like today. You can see that it has a nice dip going on there, and this will be a really easy shade to reach for with a lot of different looks that I'll be creating in the next couple months. And there is Lazarus in the swatch. You can see it definitely pulls gray, definitely a taupey gray, but gray all the same. And there are my 5 shades all together. So we have Fresh and Lazarus, our 2 new shades. Spindrift, True Bronze, we should have a pan on by next update. And Seventh Heaven is probably our challenge shade, but I'm gonna continue chipping away at it. And overall, it looks like a pretty easy palette to work with. And I'm excited to see what I can create with these colors. So that is all for my Pan Those Eyeshadows update for the month of October. I hope you enjoyed it. I apologize for any lapse in videos that you're going to be noticing over the next several months. I guarantee I'm not going to be able to keep up with all my projects the same way that I normally do. It's just been rough, and I imagine it's going to get rougher, but I'm going to do my best. So please appreciate any content that I am able to get out, and show me some love every time I do upload to give me that motivation to keep creating this content for all of you, because it's a really fun hobby for me, and I hope you enjoy the content as well. So if you do, let me know in some kind of way. But I appreciate you so much just for being here and watching this video. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm sending my love out to you wherever you are in the world that this video finds you, and I hope you're doing well, and I cannot wait to see you in my next video, whenever that may be. But until then, please take care. Bye. And for those of you interested, here is my bump update. Here is the bump update. We are 35 weeks. Yeah, so actually we have just a couple more weeks to go. And I'll tell you more about that in the future. Get ready with me, because I've got details to tell you about this pregnant bump. She's been a little dramatic. But yeah, there she is. She's gonna be cute. And I'm excited to meet her. Thanks for watching. Bye.